everyone, this is Sarah Soiled Plant. Welcome back to my channel. I was tagged in the Get to Know Me tag for plant YouTubers, and I was tagged by the lovely Moira from Bring Life Indoors. I love her channel, and I will link her down below so you can also go check her out if you're not familiar. This is just a fun video so that you guys can get to know me a little bit better and gain some insight into my channel, my history with plants, and things like that. I'll also be linking the questions in the description. If you like what you see in any portion of this video, don't forget to give it a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. All of those things help me grow and help YouTube recommend me to other plant tubers who might also enjoy this video. The first question is basically to introduce myself. Hi, my name is Sarah. I live in the state of Michigan, which is in the United States. And I am super stressed about this upcoming election, and I am just drinking to cope. Question 2, what hobbies do you have besides plants? I would say that I don't have any other hobbies that are as all-consuming as plants are, or as big or prevalent as owning plants has been for me. I will say that I get very into TV shows. I'll go into background and character studies and all this stuff over, Game of Thrones. Back in my youth, there was Lost. That one was a big, role model for how I watch TV shows now. Just like that all-consuming, just interest in what's going on in the construction of a series and characters and development and all of those sorts of things. I also watch a decent amount of reality TV, mainly CBS reality shows, Your Survivor, Big Brother, Love Island, love all of those. I've also got a small but slowly growing vinyl collection that I really enjoy. My number one band that I love listening to on vinyl is The Doors, and 9 times out of 10 I will buy something from the 60s or 50s or earlier because I just love the way all of that sounds on vinyl. Question 3, do I have any dependents, pets, or children? I have no children, but probably if you've seen any of my videos prior to this, you will know that I have 2 very rambunctious little cats. This is my old man. This is Ash. He is 15 years old. He just ate, and he has a little bit of food anxiety because if he eats and then doesn't get a lot of attention right away, he actually will throw up his food. So I am giving him some extra attention right now. He actually hates being held, but he is a big lap cat, and he always wants to be very close to me. He comes when I call him, no matter what hour of the night. If he is dead asleep, he will wake up and come to me. He is just a good boy, but he is an old man. He's my snuggle bunny, and he will sleep with me almost every single night. I could actually write a dissertation paper all about the weird things he does and likes and dislikes, but yeah, he's just a quirky old man, and I love him very much. I'm hoping he's one of those cats that lives forever, and he's just my little buddy all the time. And this is my second kitty. This is Marjorie, or Maggie. She is named after Miss Marjorie Tyrell from Game of Thrones. She also does not enjoy being held. She loves strangers more than me, 9 times out of 10. She misbehaves to get my attention, including chewing on my plants. She's the #1 offender, even though Ash has done it too. She's very soft. She's very photogenic, so those 2 things definitely make up for her little bratty behavior. But she is extremely cute. My last pet that I've never actually formally introduced to you is actually a snake. His name is Oberyn, also named for the Game of Thrones character, as well as one of my all-time favorite beers by Bell's in Michigan. I want to give you a little warning. I will show him on camera if you are very squeamish with snakes. I know a lot of people are. You can turn away now. You want to show off how cute you are? So this is Mr. Oberyn. He is a 5-year-old little boy. His head is about the same size as my thumb, so he's not super big. But yeah, he's a little albino corn snake, super common in the US. They're actually found in the wild. But yeah, that is Oberyn, my little dude. And sometimes when he's in his cage, he will like reach for my face and he'll give me little boops through the top of the cage. You know, he doesn't seem cute to most people, but he's my little dude. He also gives me a little bit of a badass edge and some cred. Yeah, I'll go put him back. Question 4, why plants? What is your plant origin story? So I've had random herb gardens over the years, you know, your basic stuff, basil, rosemary, and thyme, just so it would make it easier for cooking because those are the things I use the most often. When I moved into a place of my own without roommates about 4 years ago, I started decorating and trying to make my home have that nice, like, cozy, warm, homey feel. And after I was done buying all of my furniture, definitely I could feel like something was missing. And like any good millennial, I turned to Pinterest and Instagram to kind of get some inspiration to see what I was missing to not have it have that beautiful, airy, you know, cozy feeling that I was looking for. Of course, the answer was plants. And I'd had outdoor herbs and whatnot, but I'd never had anything indoors that I'd taken care of myself. So, of course, I promptly go out and buy a succulent, and within a couple of months, I managed to kill said succulent. And, you know, I didn't give it any light whatsoever. I had it, like, in the dark recesses of my kitchen. It got all leggy and weird and just died just in a spectacular fashion. I'm not used to failure on that epic of a magnitude, so I definitely got angry with myself and decided, no, I am going to figure this out. And so I researched and researched and researched, ended up on YouTube watching a ton of YouTube videos, and then bought my first couple of plants, and the rest is kind of history. Question 5, why did you start a YouTube channel about plants? Talk a bit about your first video. I had toyed around with making a YouTube channel for a few years. I just couldn't quite get a handle on what I wanted to talk about. And when I got into plants, it was all consuming. Everything I watched on YouTube, whatever I watched before, was completely replaced by the Planttube, you know, kind of community. I wanted to learn about different varieties, what they look like, their care needs, growth patterns, everything. I wanted to know everything. Then COVID happened this year, and basically I had all the time in the world to dedicate to building a channel. I had no excuse not to. I spent months collecting plants in the beginning of this pandemic only to realize that I'm spending enough time doing this and I'm loving all of it that I should really just start a channel of my own, since it's something I really, really enjoy and love talking about, but don't have really anyone to talk about it to. One thing about starting my channel that I was nervous about, I wanted to make sure that when I started it, it was for real. I didn't want to start and then slowly fade away over time or get bored of it. So I made sure that I was committed in my mind and had the tenacity, the willpower, the energy to go forward and post consistently, because that's how you build a channel and how you kind of work with the algorithm that YouTube gives you, is you have to post consistently, and that's how you maintain and get channel growth. As far as my first video goes, it was just a quick little intro where I kind of said, hi, my name's Sarah and I want to start a YouTube channel. It wasn't anything that I knew would be permanent. I just kind of wanted something so that if people were coming to my channel without a ton of content on it, they kind of knew what the channel was. I've since put it back on private, not because I'm ashamed of it. It was a little awkward, but it's not because I'm ashamed of it necessarily. It just didn't kind of mix with the rest of my channel. If that was like the 4th video of mine you watched, you'd probably be like, what is this? So I just decided to put it on private. It was pretty boring and awkward, so if you weren't one of those like 70 people who watched that first video, don't worry, you didn't miss anything. Question 6. What is your philosophy on buying plants? Now this one I actually had to write down because I do, in my mind, have this philosophy. And these things, they're not like in any order, but they're all things I consider before I buy a plant. First thing, will I be able to take care of it? Lighting, watering. And if there's a high risk that I could kill it, I want to make sure it's cheap. I do not want to buy some risky, super finicky plant if I don't think I can keep it alive and it's more than like $15. Not happening. 2, just because I can afford it doesn't mean I should buy it. That essentially means that I should be a responsible adult and not spend a ton of money on plants, especially when I have plenty of plants that I love and enjoy currently. My 3rd rule is don't buy too many plants at once. This is just so I don't get overwhelmed with care. I want to make sure, if I buy 5 plants, that I know I'm increasing the amount of plants I have by, 3%, whatever it is. I want to make sure I can take care of those extra plants just from a logistics standpoint. And rule number 4, which is actually a new rule of mine, until I'm good at propagating, don't buy anything that I'm unwilling to lose forever. So as I start dabbling into more expensive plants, I have to figure out how to propagate and save plants in case things take a turn for the worst and I have to revive it from scratch. I don't want to just lose it forever. I'm gonna keep playing this game. Oh, Maggie, stop it. God help me. Stop butting my head. It's like she knows I got my flu shot on that arm. Because she keeps hitting her head right on where the little sensitive bits are. You're just evil incarnate. You're terrible. Question 7. What is your favorite part about having or keeping plants? Aside from plants just being really pretty and lovely to look at, I just really like watching them grow and kind of seeing like the fruits of my labor. But also I really like the routine of checking on them and watering them. I'm naturally not somebody who has a routine. A lot of people, wake up at their set time and have coffee and the newspaper. That's just not something I ever did or, got in the habit of doing. So I'm kind of forcing myself into a routine and have some structure around something I actually love doing. So I'm kind of tricking myself into being a more responsible human adult. Question 7. What is your favorite genus or favorite genuses? So I'd say my 2 favorite right now are Calathea and Philodendron. If I had to pick a 3rd, it would probably be Alocasia. But yeah, those are definitely the top 3. If I had to choose between Calathea and Philodendron, I like Calathea the plants better, but I'm better at caring for philodendrons. Like, not an insane amount more. Like, I'd say, I don't know, I can't choose. I'll pick Calatheas just because I have a whole table dedicated to my Calatheas. Question 9. How good is your space for plants? My place is pretty decent for plants. When I moved last year, I was looking at a bunch of different rental houses, apartments, duplexes, things like that. And I ultimately went with this place because it had the best windows and best lighting. It's got enough space to fit all of my things and my plants, as well as it being small enough that I could have my humidifiers going and it actually keeps my living space at, 60 to 65% humidity even in the winter. One of the main drawbacks of living in Michigan is that the summers are shorter and the winters are longer. So I don't have a ton of light, especially right now. It's already starting to get dark by the time I get home from work. So I definitely need extra lights like these in order to supplement the sunlight that they're not getting. As far as design is concerned, I'm pretty happy with how I've laid out my plants. When people know I'm into plants and they ask, oh, how many plants do you have? And I say I have 70 some odd plants, they all get really concerned, like, oh my gosh, that is so many plants. How do you fit them in your house? Do you live in a jungle? And while I would love to live in a jungle, that is definitely not the case in my house. I have my little designated areas that I've stashed them, and how I describe my living space is you can tell when you come in to my house that I'm into plants, and it's not overwhelming how many plants I have. I will give some credit to how I've laid out my home and the plants. I will give some credit to the cats, because ultimately there are certain surfaces I cannot put plants because the cats will get to them. So I've had to get resourceful and keeping them off of a lot of surfaces that they have access to. As much as I hate that my cats chew on plants, that is also kind of why I've designed my space the way I have. Question 10. How do your housemates respond to all of your plants? I currently don't have roommates or anyone living with me. I don't even know if I could fit another person in this apartment if I could, just because literally every inch is kind of accounted for. But I have had a handful of people come over to my apartment since I've lived here and had everything settled, and I've gotten pretty much mostly compliments on how I've set everything up, so I'll take that as a victory. Question 11. What are you looking forward to the most as a plant parent? Propagating. I've done a little bit, but I want to get way more into propagating and also possibly germinating seeds on my anthurium. This is like a big step for me. It kind of goes from, oh, this is a fun thing I do, to like, no, I'm going to be growing and building and, growing plants from scratch. That is a way different thing. I want to kind of experiment with that over the winter, and I'm very excited about it. As far as tagging others go, I did a little bit of internet sleuthing to try and figure out who's been tagged and who hasn't. I tried to pick 4 people who have not been tagged yet. They may have been and I missed it, but these are the 4 people that I'm tagging to do this video. First and foremost is Miss Laura's Leaves. She is my fellow Michigander, and I love her channel. You should go check her out. Second is Splash of Green. I know you don't post super often, but I am using this as encouragement to force you to make more videos because I love your content. I want to see all your plants. I want to see your personality on screen. So see this as a little bit of peer pressure. But yeah, love his channel. The next person I'm tagging is Lucy Bloom. She is based in Ireland, and I love her plants and her collection. She just got herself an allotment over in Ireland, and it's been super interesting to see the progression and what she's doing with her allotment. So go check her out. And then, of course, there's Gerard's Horticulture Culture. Love his channel, love everything he's doing, love his plants. Super awesome guy, and I will link all 4 of those channels in the description below for you, and go check out their channels. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye! She is literally licking herself right now. I promise she doesn't like me. She only does this when I film. Otherwise, she just ignores me all day. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah.